its ownership.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're listening to Listed by Mina Kuper on 1220 AM, 98.1 FM. Happy Thanksgiving, almost. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm here with Chris Griffin from LaRocca Inspections, and my show is about trust, probate, divorce, and everything, all the ingredients, I think that's a good word, that goes into that scenarios, those different scenarios, relationships, right? Whether they're parting or they're coming together, we all need these people to help us. And today we're going to be talking about the buyer's inspection elections. And, interesting enough, Chris, I find that people forget about that. Did you find that?
Oh,
That
yeah.
they kind of like just do an inspection, that's it. They don't even have their sellers or buyers check off anything. So what are your thoughts?
Yes, thank you, Mina. Absolutely, that is what happens, and I think all too often, without malice or intent, the real estate agents basically just say, "Okay, we need the home inspection," like a singular thing.
Yeah.
Not. Okay, now we need to decide what inspections you want or you need, and then choose them from this particular document that you mentioned, which is the California Association of Realtors document. It's called the Buyer's Inspection Election Document. That document has 37 individual different types of inspections for the buyer to choose from.
Wow.
So pretty much, and another blank spot that if the buyer decided, oh, well, I want, X inspected, whatever, they could fill that in.
Right.
So I think it's important for buyers to really understand the escrow package and those papers, because those documents, and there's many of them pertaining to the home inspection or the real estate inspection that CAR puts out, that really help to educate the buyer, so that the buyer can come from an educated position, which
Sure.
puts them more in power and more in control of their own transaction, which I think is extraordinarily important.
So when someone gets an inspection, they say, "Hey, Chris, LaRocca Inspections, I'm buying this property, and it's relatively new. It's not an old property necessarily." And they call you for an inspection. Do you ask them what kind of inspection they want, or you just at first do a general one? How does it work? I mean, what point should they ask for all those different and specific things?
Right. Thank you. Many of them don't know that there's anything else.
Oh,
So
I see.
typically,
Okay.
yes. So that is the conundrum. Typically, when a client calls, we answer our phone inspections. We don't answer it LaRocca inspections or
right.
general physical
Yes,
inspections.
yes.
We say inspections, and then typically, okay, well, I need my home inspection. We will say, what kind of inspection do you need? And 9 out of 10 times, what? What kind of inspections are there? And then we'll educate quickly as to the four that we provide, which is the general physical, the sewer line, the mold and moisture inspection, and the chimney inspection. As you know, as a realtor, the termite inspection now is elected. It's no longer part of the
Right.
seller's
Yes.
duties to get the termite inspection, and many buyers aren't even aware of that.
Right.
So an agent has, I think, especially in these times and in this market, I think an agent working for a buyer has even a greater responsibility to provide their fiduciary duty to their client, because they're working in shorter contingency periods,
Yes.
and they're working with multiple types of inspections.
Yes.
So we educate our client real quickly on what types there are, and we refer our client to this document. Have a look.
And it's so important.
Yes. Do you want your pool inspected? That's item number, I'm not sure, but item number 18.
And
on
that's a
that
big
document.
deal because a few years ago, I had a house out in West Hills that I was selling,
Okay.
and we didn't know about the pool situation, but the house was on the older side of things, right? It was a mature house, I should say. And the pool, the electrical, was was so outdated
Sure.
that
Outdated.
they said that someone can get electrocuted in there, and it would cost about $30,000 to, do something with
Upgrade
it,
it, make it safe.
upgrade it, and
Yeah.
make it safe, and rearrange the electrical. And people were in shock when they found this out because it affects the price. You can do it a few ways. You can get a credit. You can, have someone come in and do it before the house
Request for
closes.
repairs, right.
Request for repairs. And, a lot of people feel that they go as is. And I don't think there is an as is clause that's really legitimate. As is. What does that mean? As is, right?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
If I might.
Sure, of course. I'd love for you because when I have things from agents, I'm like, what is as is? I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I've seen it all, right?
Well, there is an as-is clause,
right?
And it's in the RPA, the Residential Purchase Agreement and Joint Escrow Instructions.
Right.
But the curious thing is, I think most people stop reading as soon as they see as is.
Exactly.
Because it does say contingent upon the inspections or discovery period.
And an agent should know that.
Correct.
Right.
And also, what is as is until you know what as is is.
Yes.
And that's why you have things inspected.
Right.
Right.
And exactly.
That is the importance of the inspection. So you do know what you're buying. And to be honest with you, a seller could say, no, it's as is. And the seller could take the information that comes from the buyer's inspection, team, and the seller doesn't have to do anything with it.
Right.
But then of course, then that could blow up the deal or whatnot. Now that leads, if you don't mind.
Of course, please.
That's
what you're here for, to let everybody know what they don't know, and I always learn from you.
Oh well, thank you.
I do.
That's great. That leads to the importance of a seller getting their own inspection, a pre-listing inspection, so that the listing agent can help to manage the seller's expectations by getting that inspection, so there's no surprises when the buyer's inspectors come in and discover things that the seller didn't even know may have been wrong with the home.
Right.
Now, you had mentioned earlier a new house, okay? There's no reason, really, to forego any of the normal inspections just because it's a new house. A new house may have a myriad of sort of punch list items that if they come up on the inspection, the seller of the home can now approach the general contractor and they can take care of those things typically under their warranty. So it's a win-win for all.
Absolutely. I had a situation recently where my client wanted a townhome that was in a new complex. And, we weren't getting really straight answers. They really said there was no need for inspection. Never heard that. Then I did my due diligence, as you know I do. I protect my buyers and my sellers. And I realized that they had to move most of the people out because the roof was leaking.
Oh, wow.
And apparently it was not done properly. And I'm sure there were other things that could have been uncovered if we were to go in and inspect it. And I advised my client against buying the property because they weren't forthcoming, and I'm uncomfortable with that. And then we proceeded to buy another property, and there was some water damage, clearly, that you can see. And they received money for the repairs, but no repairs were done. And the listing agent told me that there was nothing wrong. I said, well, he got money. There must have been something wrong.
Oh, my.
And he tried to push me to sign off on it. And I said, we're not going anywhere with this until you get a licensed plumber to sign off to tell me there's nothing wrong.
Oh,
because
good for you.
I will never, and I can't tell you how many times these kind of situations have happened in various different forms. And people need the money, realtors or whatever, and people kind of want to brush through it. But that opens you up to a lawsuit for everyone and a very unhappy client that doesn't deserve that. They hire you for your professionalism. And if you're a realtor, you need to do your job.
Yeah. You have a fiduciary duty to that
That's
client.
right.
And it's got to be tough. I mean, it's got to be tough. You're already in a bit of a conflict of interest. Your income depends on your buyer buying that house.
Yes.
So you want everything to go smoothly. And again, the importance of finding inspectors who then you can sort of use on your team.
Yeah.
Who
I agree.
know these inspectors can help facilitate the transaction continuing to go forward no matter what is found, no matter what's found. I can't tell you how many deals have blown up that I've gotten involved in and sort of, put it all back together. Because it really is, again, goes back to what I said earlier about educating the client. If you're buying a typical home, don't expect a brand new house. If you're buying a 50s era home, it's a 50s era home.
That's right.
You have to understand that. And managing your client's expectations is so important for the agent.
And you know what's interesting and why it's so important to deal with inspection companies like yourself that have been around since, what, 1990?
1995,
When you were
94?
10, you started, you were a prodigy child, of
Yeah.
course, right? And so, and I was 10, and So anyway, I had sellers in the past that insisted on using their inspectors. So I'm not going to argue with people. I'm like, fine. If you've used them before, by all means. And they were done in 25 minutes. And I would chime in, and of course most realtors would not, because they're like, oh, good, he didn't spend enough time. There's no way you can go through anything in 25 minutes. You guys crawl through things that I didn't even know existed. And I asked him, I said, you done? He goes, yeah. So I spoke to the sellers. I said, I've never encountered this. And when I have, I mean, something is not right. It should be a much more, detailed
Comprehensive.
inspection. Yeah, I mean, you go through the plumbing, you got to go through the electrical, in the crawl spaces, in the attics,
Yeah.
whatever is around. And they were adamant about, being okay with it, which was to my surprise. And I don't know why. But, if people hire me, you're going to get it done right, whether you like it or not.
Good. I'm
And it
glad
could
to
have
hear
cost
that.
me my deal. Maybe there was something,
Yeah.
that the buyers didn't care about, or I don't know what the story was. But, I don't care. My job is to do the right thing.
Right. I mean, inspections can vary in time depending on the condition of the property, the size of the property. But 25 minutes,
Yeah, it was
I think
25
for
minutes.
any property.
I thought he was going out to his car. He told me he's done.
Right. It takes me 25 minutes to inspect the closet,
Right.
so I'm not
yes.
sure how you do a whole.
Yes, of
oh,
course.
yeah.
I've been with you, when you guys do
Exactly.
it, no stones left unturned, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And especially when you go through trust, probate, divorce, I would want to know
Oh, so absolutely so important.
before you even put it on the market.
Right. Yes. Again, sort of that idea of the pre-listing inspection, so and working with inspectors that you do know that aren't going to just 25 minutes and say we're done.
Yes.
That they're thorough and their reports are comprehensive but not technically exhaustive. They're easy to understand.
Right. And I know
so
you
much so.
highlight all things that maybe need attention.
Correct.
Right. So you let people know.
In my reports, we have three categories. Basically, it's serviceable, needs attention, or not acceptable. Serviceable means that the item is doing what it's intended
Right,
to do, exhibiting typical wear and tear. Needs attention, the item would need further repair or evaluation by that appropriate specialist. And then not acceptable will be typically reserved for a safety issue.
Right.
So that when you're going through the report, it's very easy to understand. And the report is designed to make your request for repairs based on every page that you read. So it's very simple.
And I also feel it's so important to get a home warranty, because if an inspector comes out, he doesn't know necessarily the stove will stop working in 20 minutes after you haven't cooked your chicken fully or what have you.
That's
right.
right. That's right. And keep the home warranty up.
Yes.
Don't let it just expire after the first year. Buy back into it. And if you think your inspector missed something, look at the report. If it says the stove was working at the time of the inspection, the stove was likely working at the time of the
Absolutely.
inspection. The home warranty company may say, no, it was an existing condition. Show them the report.
Exactly.
No, it wasn't. It was working at the time of the inspection. Please come fix my stove. And
Yeah.
they will. They will.
Yeah, and I've had people try to get away with not doing it.
course.
I'm like, it's like $750 that comes out of the loan or whatever. It's not really something you feel heavily.
No.
And and then again, someone can send, say you sell me a house with bad stuff, and then it opens up a can of worms. And I love insurance since I was a kid, and when I didn't have money, I loved insurance.
Yeah, it's
My
a good
dog
idea.
had insurance. Everybody had insurance. This is insurance, folks, and insurance is something that you need. A home, your pets, yourself. It is so important. It's peace of mind.
Absolutely. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know,
Yep.
and I know that in trust and probate and inherited situations, from time to time, depending if it's in the probate courts, and I suggest trying to mediate out of it before you do the probate court, especially with COVID. It is taking a long time, and if you can make peace with everyone and figure out a way to do this, and you can call me at any time to have a powwow that is neutral. And Chris, I want to talk to you about how do people reach you and Thora and schedule appointments? How does it work with your company?
Well, typically the real estate agent or a buyer or a seller would call us directly at our office at 818-951-1795. They can go to my website, www.laroccainspections.com. On my website, your listeners can download a free copy of my Buyer's Seller's Guide to Inspections.
Oh, that's perfect because that's so important.
Yes, that document, that pamphlet
I love it.
refers to many of those card documents, the California Association of Realtor
Yes,
documents,
right.
including the one that we just spoke about today on your show.
And that's so important. Have it handy, share it with your friends, go to LaRocca's website and download it because, when people go to sell homes, it just delays everything when you don't have it. You can't sweep it under the rug.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Everybody, oh, no one's good. No, put it aside. Oh, maybe they won't find out.
That's right.
Don't do that. It's usually, penny wise, pound foolish. Is that the saying or
Yes,
something?
something
Right?
like that.
Something like that.
Yes.
Just do it. Do it right.
Yeah, do it right. And if a client would like to speak to me personally, just call the main office number. Somebody will get me that message. I'll contact them back, or an agent. If they need any sort of personal help in a transaction that they have ongoing or one that they're concerned about, maybe they're trying to match up an inspector to let's say they have a brand new first-time home buyer who's very nervous.
Right.
I'm not going to send the inspector out who I usually send out with the lawyers and
Right. Yes,
all of
the
the other
whole crowd.
professional
Yeah,
A
yeah.
to B, let's go.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to send somebody out that just has a much more calm demeanor and a good communication and so forth and so on, and willing to take the time and whatnot. I can sort of tailor match an inspector.
And what's nice is people can always reach you. You never have time off, and always you are available. So if you have downtime and it's not on time for people, still reach out to LaRocca Inspections.
That's right. I have an entire staff.
Yes, you
at
and your
disposal.
people that work there are just amazing.
Thank you.
They really are. They're wonderful people. So
Yes,
I
they
want to thank you, Chris, and I want you to have a great Thanksgiving.
You too, Mina. Thank you so much.
And I look forward to seeing you real soon.
You bet. Absolute pleasure.
We're going to do this again, and we're going to talk about some more inspection surprises that we will uncover that you need to know that you don't know. Probably don't know, and I'm not sure if you know, but
Looking
we're going
forward
to tell
to it.
you everything you need to know. So thank you.
Thank you.
At Substrata, they're dedicated to be your go-to general contractor. They are a premier builder of high-end custom homes from the ground up, major remodels and expansions, multi-unit construction, and commercial tenant improvements for both retail and office build-out. Their focus on details and personal attention have been constant, from conception of the project to completion. They build stories not with pen and keyboard, but with steel and manpower. Visit substrata.com or call 424-702-5700.
Felicia Dorado Insurance Agency specializes in your small business, homeowners, auto, umbrella, and life insurance needs. Their personalized staff is passionate to help you save money while keeping all your valuable assets covered. During these times, many people are concerned about insurance and getting the best value for their dollar. Felicia Dorado's Insurance Agency understands this and approaches each situation uniquely. Felicia Dorado's Insurance Agency has friendly hometown customer service reps that are ready to help you today. 661-288-2001.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
This is Bradley from Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to 4,465 families in the SCV. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or our Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 661-425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
Your hometown station.
It's no secret that KHTS has the best midday talk show lineup around. If you've missed any of your favorites, no problem. KHTS has you covered. Podcasts for all the midday shows can be found right on our website, hometownstation.com. Whether you missed a show from 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years ago, and you want to catch up, we got you covered. They're all right there. Plus extra podcasts too. That's hometownstation.com. hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
And now a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Everyone loves chicken. It's easy to cook in a variety of ways, especially on the barbecue.
Marinate it overnight in your favorite marinade. Brown it up nice on the barbecue, and then put it on the other side in direct heat. Close your lid. Take another 25-30 minutes, and they're good.
Chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkey, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest chicken in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
LaRocca Inspections provides 4 of the most needed inspections when buying or selling real estate, and homeowners love their property reviews. Since 1994, they serve the greater Los Angeles area and its 100-plus communities. Schedule residential or commercial inspections for your comprehensive reports. Their inspections can save you money on repairs. Go to LaRoccaInspections.com and download the free guide to inspections. Call now for your free quote, 818-951-1795.
I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, Santa Clarita Valley's local community business bank dedicated to supporting small businesses throughout our community. As a matter of fact, Mission Valley Bank made over 360 Paycheck Protection or PPP loans totaling over $72 million to local small businesses to help them navigate these challenging times. Our commitment to small businesses throughout our community will not waver as we look forward. On behalf of everyone at Mission Valley Bank, we're wishing you a happy holiday season.
When it comes to buying or selling your home, there's no room for error with your money. That's why Precision Escrow is the company you need to know. When selling your home, you want to make sure you're working with a company that has your best interest and keeps your money safe. That's why they use encrypted emails and secure trust accounting. Precision Escrow will follow the contract in detail from the beginning to the end and protect the parties involved. Working with Precision is like working with a huge family. Everyone is always smiling and cohesively working together for you. Check out their 5-star Yelp and Google reviews and see how they separate themselves from the competition. Whether you use an agent or sell your home yourself, they'll give you 30% off your transaction, which saves you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Use code RADIO30 to take advantage of the savings. Call Lauren Fredette, your representative, for more details. She's available 7 days a week during and after office hours. Call toll-free 877-393-4101. Let them help you through one of the most important decisions of your life.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and we are back on the radio. We are listening to KHTS Radio 98.1 FM, 1220 AM, and I have a special guest on the phone with us today. He was not able to join us physically, even though I am social distancing. I have plexiglass everywhere. David Zellmer is an amazing trust and estate attorney, and we met several months ago. He was introduced to me by a client of his who was so happy with him, and he did such a great job for them that they just were really, excited for me to meet with Davis. And, it's so important to have great recommendations for people. Davis, how you doing today, Davis? Nice to hear from you.
Good. Thank you for the introduction.
So, we're going to talk about general reasons to have an estate plan.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm an estate planning attorney. I specialize in estate planning, probate, and estate administration, which are really the 3 phases of what to do to prepare for your death and how to administer it afterwards. And one of the key points here is it's pretty simple to avoid probate. And for anybody who's been in probate, they will appreciate this message because it just takes a little bit of work beforehand, and it could save your family a lot of time and money in the long run.
That's great. And can you explain? I know some people are unclear about a will versus a trust and the healthcare directives and all that jazz because it is if you don't do this and you've never done it before, I think clarity is super important.
Yeah, definitely. A comprehensive estate plan should really include several documents, including a living trust, especially if you own real property or you have young children. It allows for you to make provisions in that trust so that your decisions and what you want to happen really get reflected after you pass away. Also included in that would be a will, power of attorney, health directive, nominations of guardianships, and also making sure your assets are transferred. So the difference between a will and a trust is actually fairly upfront. A will is generally, what do you want to happen after you pass away? Where do you want things to go? People think of the word will, and that's exactly right. But what a will doesn't do for you, a simple will, is it doesn't avoid probate. What a will does is actually makes it so that you still have to go in front of a judge and go through the probate process. He or she just has a document in front of them that expresses your wishes. Whereas a revocable living trust is a non-judicial instrument, meaning that you do not need to go to court to pass your legacy on to your heirs. So they both functionalize as the same way, where you will express your intent on where you want assets to go. It's just one is done as its own entity outside of court in a trust, and the other one still requires a court to be marshaled over the whole administration process. You want to make sure that you have those ancillary documents in place too, which are those power of attorneys for financial matters and healthcare directives. If you can't make a financial or health decision on your own, who do you want to make that for you? It's very important to have those.
And the other thing, which is interesting, if who's able, so let's say you have your immediate family and someone passes away and they have the kids and the grandkids, but who's also able to create, I know they do an announcement on the death to see if they had any other heirs. What is an heir? Who can actually cause a probate?
Yeah, so an heir in California is presently described as somebody who's a blood relative or blood descendant of you, as well as legally adopted individuals can be considered heirs or people who would inherit as under what the rules of intestate succession might be, which is basically blood kindred and adoptees. Now, one of the things with the trust is, say you have a dissociated relationship with your children for whatever reason, you do not have to gift your assets to your children, and having things placed in a trust can actually make the process very simple, even if they were to appeal to a court. As long as the trust documents were valid, the rules of intestacy go out the window, and they don't have an entitlement to your assets. It goes according to what you've written down in your trust.
And can you exclude someone in the trust when you create it to say, we don't want Johnny, sorry, I don't mean just Johnny, I hope your name is not Johnny, but we don't want Johnny in the trust. We want him excluded from any, for him coming forward and saying, oh, I'm a blood relative, even though he may be, but the person who passed away does not want Johnny or Susie to get anything.
Right, exactly. So you can specifically state an individual that you don't want to inherit any part of your assets, or you can set up contingencies, meaning that you don't want them to get, say you want to give Johnny $20,000 and his sister Karen $100,000. Well, you could say, I don't want you, Johnny, to get your $20,000 until you get at least 4 A's on a report card. You could set up any sort of contingency you want within reason, as long as it's legal, to put up specific benchmarks. So in other words, In my own estate plan, I have that when if I pass away, my children are in college. When they graduate from college, they get a specific sum, but they don't actually get their entire inheritance until they turn 30 or 35. And so I set that up because while I hope I do a good job raising my children and they're responsible young adults, I feel like 30 years old is a good age where the primary number of 30-year-olds can handle business on their own. So I wanted to not give my children discretionary spending until that age.
Interesting. Yeah, I had a situation a year ago where there was a will in place, but not a trust, and the half-brothers of the deceased came over and decided to open a probate and was successful with that. And then on top of that, because probate is a lengthy process, that's why it's good to avoid it. But on top of that, one of the brothers during the probate passed away, and the wife of 1 year ended up inheriting $3 million.
Yep, that is a possibility. Now there are ways around that.
I was just going to ask you that because I was just OMG. It's terrible, the story, but it's Murphy's Law, right? Things that are weird happen.
Right. So there's statutory rules, which basically means that if the individual doesn't write a specific thing down or have something documented where their intent can be expressed, the court has set out specific rules that say, if there's nothing that exists, this is how we're going to administer that person's estate. So in that situation, he might not have had children, and it could have gone to a surviving spouse, even if it was considered separate property, if she was the only heir potentially. But one way to avoid that is I had a client come to me and said, I'm not in great health and I'm set to inherit about $5 million, and I want it to go to my kids. I don't necessarily. I've only been with my wife for about 5 years. My kids are in their 20s, and so I'd really want it to go to them. And what we ended up setting up is a trust, and we took his beneficial interest, even though he hadn't been given the money yet or assigned the money. We assigned his interest over to his trust, meaning that if something were to happen to him in the interim, we now have a document saying, I know I'm going to be inheriting X amount. I want that portion to go to these people if I don't survive and it doesn't come to me first. And so by doing the assignment and actually writing it and expressing it down, it's really going to limit his current wife's argument that, hey, I'm the wife, I get everything. Mm-hmm. It just it doesn't work like that because now we have an expression of his intent, and the courts will generally adhere to that.
And it's super important as a realtor and I am a certified trust and probate realtor, as you know, Davis. People sometimes forget to put the title in the name of the trust, and that can cause an issue as well.
Yeah, definitely. The second biggest thing you got to do behind getting the actual trust in place is doing what they call funding the trust, and that includes transferring the assets and the titles of the properties into the name of the trust, and going to the bank and actually assigning that bank account into the name of the trust to you as a trustee rather than you as an individual. The four main ways to avoid probate are transferring things to a trust, beneficiary designations, and joint accounts, or gifting something away before you actually pass away.
So what happens? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what happens if the property is in the name of the trust, but the bank accounts are not?
It still is a possibility that probate would be required. Uh-huh. Now, a lot of times a bank account will ask you when you set it up to name a beneficiary on the account. Well, what happens often enough is that a husband and wife, they'll go into the bank, open up a bank account, have that bank account for the next 25 years, and it has $80,000 in it or something like that. And they do have a beneficiary designated, but it's only the other person. Maybe it's the wife and the husband is the beneficiary, or vice versa. And what ends up happening is they end up both passing away over time, and they never get that change or never update it. And so now we don't know who the contingent beneficiaries are, and you still can't avoid probate because you have this $180,000 sitting in the bank with no beneficiary listed. Nobody else is listed as a joint on the account, and it's just sitting there. And so you run into a situation that you might still need to open up a probate. Now, thankfully, in California, we do have something called a Hegstad petition, which if you can find an expression of intent that account was supposed to be in trust, you can actually sign a Hegstad petition and go to the courts and say, this was supposed to be in trust. It wasn't actually put in. It was a mistake, to no fault of anybody. It was just didn't happen. And many times the court will say, okay, go ahead and put that into trust retroactively.
No, it's so important. I had a situation. Someone I know actually wanted to sell their property, and it was the name of the trust. And he and the wife were no longer together. And then he had 5 minor children in the marriage that he became primary custody. She had no custody, the ex-wife, and signed over the house to him via a document from the attorneys. But what happened was she ended up having tax liens on her. No one ever transferred the name off the trust, her name off the trust, and not off title. So it became a very drawn out situation. And for some reason, that there was no one that did it. And these things are important to know when you're selling a house or you're going through a dissolution of a relationship, because it's inevitable it'll happen in one way, shape, or form, right, Davis? It's just gonna, whether someone dies or they get divorced or the business relationship goes and pulls apart, something's gonna happen. So what do you see the future of estate planning? Because things have changed a little bit.
The future of estate planning, I mean, there's a lot that can vary with the new administration coming in. It's likely that the tax exemptions and tax rules are going to change significantly as to what was implemented in 2017 under President Trump. Even in California right now, we just had Proposition 19 pass, which is going to significantly limit the rights for parent-to-child exclusions and rollovers of property tax basis from a gift or inheritance from a mom or a dad, or vice versa. And even a grandparent or grandchild, if that's applicable. And so it's ever-changing. It's very, very important to stay in communication with your estate planning attorney if you have one. If you don't find one, and keep up to date with them at least every 4 or 5 years. That seems to be the timeline where, things might change in your plan. And hopefully when you do call and have the update, your attorney simply says, no, you're still good under the current law and you don't have to change anything. But sometimes they might have some reconsiderations.
And you've been always so helpful to me, because I do have, individuals calling me about questions, and I know I can always reach out to you, and you always respond to me. And it's so amazing to have someone like you on my side. And I know that I can refer you open-heartedly, knowing that you'll take care of your clients to the utmost ability. And how can people reach you, Davis? What is a great way for them to reach you?
My best way to reach me is by email, davis@daviszlaw.com, or by phone. My phone number is 562-760-1630. And I can't say the same enough about you. I've had several questions for you, too, and you've always been extremely helpful. So, you've always had above board representation for your clients that I know of, and always helped me in certain probate and trust transactions as well. So I appreciate you and you having me on, and thank you so much.
Yes, and because good people are, hard to find sometimes. We live in a big state with a lot of people, and having someone honorable and trustworthy, regardless of profession, and knowing that the people I refer to you are taken care as if they're your own family. So again, thank you, and I look forward to working together in the future and having a happy holidays for you and your family. And
you
have
as
a great
well.
day. Okay, thank you.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Davis.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
When it comes to buying or selling your home, there's no room for error with your money. That's why Precision Escrow is the company you need to know. When selling your home, you want to make sure you're working with a company that has your best interest and keeps your money safe. That's why they use encrypted emails and secure trust accounting. Precision Escrow will follow the contract in detail from the beginning to the end and protect the parties involved. Working with Precision is like working with a huge family. Everyone is always smiling and cohesively working together for you. Check out their 5-star Yelp and Google reviews and see how they separate themselves from the competition. Whether you use an agent or sell your home yourself, they'll give you 30% off your transaction, which saves you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Use code RADIO30 to take advantage of the savings. Call Lauren Fredette, your representative, for more details. She's available 7 days a week during and after office hours. Call toll-free 877-393-4101. Let them help you through one of the most important decisions of your life.
I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank. I'm here today to let you know that Mission Valley Bank has relocated our Center Point branch office. The new facility is 26701 McBean Parkway, directly across the street from the town center. We're very excited about this new, modern, and updated branch facility that we think is better situated to serve our growing number of small business clients. On behalf of myself and the entire Mission Valley Bank team, we're wishing you a very happy holiday season.
At Substrata, they're dedicated to be your go-to general contractor. They are a premier builder of high-end custom homes from the ground up, major remodels and expansions, multi-unit construction, and commercial tenant improvements for both retail and office build-out. Their focus on details and personal attention have been constant from conception of the project to completion. They build stories not with pen and keyboard, but with steel and manpower. Visit substrata.com or call 424-702-5700.
Felicia Dorado Insurance Agency specializes in your small business, homeowners, auto, umbrella, and life insurance needs. Their personalized staff is passionate to help you save money while keeping all your valuable assets covered. During these times, many people are concerned about insurance and getting the best value for their dollar. Felicia Dorado's Insurance Agency understands this and approaches each situation uniquely. Felicia Dorado's Insurance Agency has friendly hometown customer service reps that are ready to help you today. 661-288-2001.
I love it.
Right on!
Your hometown station.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Listed by Mina Kuper, 1220 AM, 98.1 FM, KHTS Radio. How are you, everyone? Is everyone ready for the holidays? Yes? I guess you can answer me anytime. You can go on Facebook and answer me. And if you're driving and you're listening to the radio, you can't, but you can later. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for joining me and supporting me with the show, because the show is for you and your family and your friends. And I want people to know things that are so important. And I know a lot of people just scramble sometimes to get things done last minute because it's a lot to deal with. And we're busy with our lives. And right now with COVID, we're homeschooling our children. And there's a lot going on, right? A lot going on. And hopefully we're all healthy and we stay healthy. And I want to invite people to go to my website at Listed by Mina Kuper to download a free digital copy of my book on how to sell, tips on selling inherited properties, and this guide is for you. Again, I'm a certified trust and probate realtor, and I really, like working with families, whether it's divorce, trust, estate, probate, inherited properties, questions that you have, even if they're just for your family, you can always reach out to me at 310-345-8500. And my territory is from Northern California down to San Diego County. I have a team that works with me. We're always available for our clients. And if I don't know something, I will find out for you. And what I'm going to do is, because, things are getting shut down a little bit again. And restaurants, I feel bad. I really do. And unfortunately, they are saying the COVID cases are up, and that's a big culprit, it seems to be, on what the health officials are saying. But when you use me as your realtor, your trusted realtor, I want to donate $2,000 in gift certificates to your favorite restaurant for people that can't afford food right now. And there's a lot of people that can't afford food for their families, whether they've been cutting hours or whatever is going on. And this way, we can support the restaurants and families in need. And I'm always here for everyone, and I can get help for you if you need it. I will find a way. And that's a big important why I do what I do. I didn't always have money growing up either, and I know what it's like to be on the other side. And it's such I want to have a voice for people. And living in a big state, it's hard to be heard because they're limited on people working at the agencies and people scrambling about what to do because this is unprecedented. This is something unforeseen circumstances. So please do reach out to me, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. 310-345-8500. Entertain yourself on my website. There's some great media things on there, and they'll share a little bit about who I am and where I come from. And that's listed, listed by by Mina, MINAKUPER.com. And I'm really excited to have you listening to my show. If you have any suggestions about things you want to learn about, I can invite people that will benefit your friends and listeners because I want to hear from you, the public. That's what makes me do this show. So again, reach out to me. I'm here for you. Mina Kuper. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your family, whether Zoom or in person. Stay healthy and stay safe.